Well, hello, Angie.
Rebecca, good to
Meet
see you.
again. Yeah, you as well. It was nice to run into you recently.
Yeah, it was great to see you. It's always fun. We've had
You know,
those moments, those serendipitous moments.
isn't that funny? It's kind of like when you see your teacher in the grocery store and you're like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, it's out of context. Like we're not on the podcast, we're in human form,
I
doing
know,
our human life.
right? You're not two-dimensional anymore. What's up?
I know, I felt like we should have just like picked up a mic and started doing a live podcast
I could have recorded it. I have Zoom on my phone.
right there in the dress section.
Right, exactly where I was sweating because I had just gotten done trying on like 8 dresses that I was not thrilled about. So it's all good. I ended up borrowing one from a friend and the price is right there. So I'm excited about it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Good. Good. And then my daughter found a dress and
good.
so we're
Well,
all well on our way. So, episode 17, y'all, welcome to episode 17. Excited for y'all to be here again each week. Like, or each time you join us, we're just hoping that you take away, bring us some relatable,
yeah,
practical tips, maybe
we're just having life out loud here.
having life out loud. And one of the things, our topic for you today is the art of embracing your true self. I
Yeah,
do think it's an art, right? Like the art of how do you embrace your true self when you are navigating
yeah,
all the things in life.
absolutely.
So, Rebecca, as we're getting into this, like the art of, I want
Yeah.
to say something else, but the art of embracing your true self,
Well,
what,
let's be,
what does this mean to
yeah.
you?
To be honest, I want to admit out loud here that when you and I were talking about this topic, the working titles had a few more choice words in them.
Yes.
So, but because I think what happens when you get out of line with when you get out of alignment with your true self, there's something inside of you that knows that you're being inauthentic or that you're living out values that aren't your own. And it after a while, if you don't honor that, you start to boil over. And I think last time we were talking about it, we had kind of hit both of us at the same time had hit that like peak boil over moment where we just wanted to scream. Like,
Yeah.
just exercise that demon, get it out. Like my true self wants to be unleashed. And I feel like in the last however many years of my life, probably all of them, since I was like consciously aware that there was a culture outside of me, I feel like I have worked my tail off trying to acquiesce to cultural norms and trying to, just kind of navigate what it means to fit in and lost myself in the process. So, you know,
Yeah. And what are some of the things that you do or that we do to
yeah,
cover that up, right? Because I think in order to embrace the true self, we need to acknowledge and have a conversation about what
yeah.
are the things that cover it up. Like, here's what I've been noticing lately, like that I've done for years and years and years. I covered up with my makeup.
Oh, sure.
I covered up with my little corporate business suits that I put on that I don't necessarily love, right?
Right.
Represents truly who I am. What are some other things?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the way you dress, the way that you show up around certain people. You can shape shift a bit in that too, like, trying to read a room and figure out the best way to show up with that group of people so that you don't stand out for the wrong reasons.
Hmm.
There's a lot of that. So it's, the way you look, the way you act, the things you say, who you interact with, how you show up on social media is a big one now. Who you choose to surround yourself with, the exercise choices you make. I mean, it's everything across the board. So yeah, it's tricky.
And so, wanting to peel off some of these layers and get to your true self,
Yeah.
you mentioned you and I were talking about it. We are like, we got to both talk about this topic. We're both feeling this right now, like this, like
Yes.
we got to rip off some of these layers, and like our inner self wants to be seen and come on out.
Right.
Where is this? Like, where are you embracing? Where's this happening in your life right now?
So what's happening to me, and maybe this is why I have all this like pent up, I don't want to call it angst. That makes it sound like I'm just like in turmoil. I'm not. I'm I'm actually energized positively by it because I'm
Hmm.
feeling like, I don't know about you, but like when I stepped into my 40s, I was kind of like, I had this just kind of like, forget it. mentality of like, you know what? This is not the time to acquiesce. This is time to like go back to who I was before the world got its grippy fingers on me and like really honor that. So right now, what I'm paying attention to is anything that triggers me. Anything that, when I'm trying to like be in a situation or be around certain people, I'm really trying to notice who and what triggers me, just kind of hits me, and what that might be saying about either my own desires or my own unmet needs. Because I think when you strip it all away, yourself, your true self exists when you're comfortable, content, calm, and not triggered.
You're in joy and peace and you're
Yeah.
present.
Yeah.
Your
So,
whole being is at a place of joy and peace.
right. So, an example of that is last month, I was invited to an event that I almost attended out of guilt. I knew in my core it was just not the right event for me, not the right place, not the right people, not the right time, just not the right anything. And I hate disappointing people, but I would have been way more untrue to myself if I would have attended. So I stayed home. I watched season 5 of Love is Blind and I have no regrets. So, I mean, that's every now and then you just have to say no to something else so you can say yes to yourself.
That's right. And say yes to your purpose or say yes to what your body, mind, body, and soul need at that time. Am I
Exactly.
doing this for my purpose or am I doing this for somebody else? Somebody
Yeah.
else's purpose, right?
Right.
Who is this serving?
Right. Exactly. What about you?
Oh man, so many things. I think how it's showing up for me right now is daily and how I'm navigating through the day. And it is, I do think you're right. It's like the reflection of who's this serving
Mhm.
and is this going to give me energy
Oh,
and get me closer to my purpose and myself, or is this going to drain me? Like,
yes.
do I need to hide and
Mhm.
be someone that I'm not and show up? And I'm really tuning inward and
Yeah.
asking myself that and almost daily in many, many moments. And
Yeah.
then I have a choice. And you know what? Sometimes I have to go to the things that
Mhm.
are going to drain my energy,
Yeah.
right? But I then like I'm like, okay, that's going to be an energy drain and
Mhm.
not honor my true self. And I know I'm going to have to put on some mask and I know
Yes.
I'm going to have to like, but then how am I counteracting that? To your point, what do I then need to do to create energy? If that's going to take away, I need to make sure that I'm balanced. I'm
Yes.
doing some balancing activities to make sure um that I'm honoring
Yeah.
other parts of my day that are going to fuel me, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes that is saying no to some of the things. I've
Right.
gotten I've gotten really comfortable at saying no to protect my yes.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's so important. And I like that we're acknowledging the fact that sometimes you do have to say yes to things that feel out of line with something that you would normally do or want to do,
Yeah.
so that you can honor something else, a value that you have otherwise, which might be showing up for somebody else,
Yeah.
or, doing something out of love for somebody else, even if it's something that doesn't feel true to you.
Yeah.
Treating somebody else and showing up is true to you, in that case. But you're making a conscious yes. You're not
Yes.
just kind of going along unconsciously.
Well, and another to break it, there's meetings. So this is like, and Rebecca and I are saying, and I hope you all don't hear this, is like, you don't want to show up to meetings being your true authentic self and just going off the rails, right? Like there's a way to conduct yourself, but
Right.
in meetings and things where it's like, I have to go, but
Yeah.
then how do I want to show up
Right.
authentically?
Right.
There was one time recently where I showed up, I got dressed, I was going in like in the office, I wore my hot pink, I love pink, I wore my hot pink blazer with my hot pink coffee cup, and I walked in and everyone was dressed in black and gray. Literally everyone except for another leader was dressed in some fantastic colors, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm okay with it. This is me.
Yeah.
Now, so that was a way for me to show up authentically
Yeah.
in that environment, but then still carrying my professional self and doing that. But that was a way that I was able to be authentic within the framework in which so
Yeah, absolutely. Have you, I mean,
there's
I've
ways to
worked
play
somewhere,
around with it.
yeah, I worked somewhere once where a woman, I was outgoing and I was doing my thing, and a woman who was not comfortable with that told me to tone it down. And so that actually backfired. It made me want to tone it up. So I think just knowing, again, like those triggers, and triggers don't have to necessarily be a bad thing. It's just more like, what is bumping you? What is like,
Yeah.
what are you paying attention to? What feelings do you get in your body when certain things are happening that are clues essentially to who you truly are, what you want, and what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Talking about the 40s, time is of the essence. Days fly by, right? And so it's if we continuously say yes to all the things that are not honoring,
Yeah.
like that's just filling our days and weeks and then months and then our lives up with somebody else's priorities versus honoring ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, like going back to the idea of what triggers and what that might be telling me about my unmet needs. So I feel like when we're acting out of alignment with our true self, a lot of those feelings kind of emerge. And we're scrambling to figure out just kind of how to get the job done, whatever that may be in that situation, to kind of like stop feeling that way. But there are universal needs that we all have for things, obviously, like sustenance, safety, love, empathy, creativity, recreation, relationships, sense of belonging. I could go on. But when we feel that a need is being unmet, that might show up. You might feel annoyed, you might feel irritable, sad, embarrassed, overwhelmed, angry, confused. Again, another list. But my true self can only show up when I feel like the foundational essential needs are met. So when I'm feeling any of the ways that I mentioned, I will ask myself, what need do I need to meet? And how can I do so in a way that makes me responsible for meeting my own needs, not somebody else? Our needs are unique, and I cannot rely on somebody else to meet my needs. I can ask for what I need, I can ask for what I want, but at the end of the day, like Miley Cyrus says, I can buy myself flowers. So, yeah,
Oh my gosh, you just hit on such a great point that I think is like the key to doing this
yeah,
is that it's onus on you,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah,
Like this is not, if you are not being your true authentic self, it's on us. It's
right.
on each of us to acknowledge it. And and I love that reflection question. And you can ask it two ways. What need is not being met,
Mhm.
right? Or how do I meet this need? Like it's just an unmet need. And I love that. And it's up to us
Yeah,
to take off the layers and expose our true authentic selves. It's not anyone else's responsibility.
right. Yeah,
And what I would add to that is um, acknowledging and accessing like your core passions and beliefs. Like, is this going to allow me? Is this unmet need? What core value is being honored or not honored?
mhm,
That this need needs to meet. Like, go
right.
back to your values
Mhm.
and who you are at your essence.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like some people need more alone time than others. And if I'm going out and out and out all the time, to your point earlier, I'm giving away all that energy. I'm not meeting my own need to decompress at home by myself, you know?
To recharge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And some of this is like this is such a exploration of like um continued self-discovery, right? I feel like this art of like being your true authentic self can be a fun it feels to me like lights. Like I feel like when I'm like my authentic self, I'm dancing around and I'm like peeling off layers and like I'm going over here. Is this gonna honor it? Nope, maybe not. Maybe part
Yeah.
of it. I don't know. It can be a journey of self-discovery.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all an
With it.
experiment. It's all an experiment.
An experiment. That's right. It's just an experiment. This is an experiment. So I think my thing is go experiment.
Yeah.
What are your days looking like? Where are you in spots, in moments where you are honoring or not honoring who you are? And
Mm.
how do you play with that a little bit?
Yeah.
Where do you have complete freedom to show up as you? Where do you maybe like have some things that it's like, yeah, I'm going to shake it up a little bit. I'm going to honor myself.
Yeah,
by
absolutely.
wearing a hot pink coat or bringing the hot pink scenario or turning up some music. I need more. My authentic self needs more music and dancing in my life.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Me too. I used to need a lot more music. Right now, I feel like sometimes I need silence, but that's just because my house is loud when
Yeah,
everybody's here. But yeah,
good.
I mean, it's just honoring what I need. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? So then let's play that out, right? What value are
Mm.
you honoring with silence?
Yeah. For me, it's, honoring my need to just decompress and process thoughts in my own brain that I can't when there's too much noise around, and just really like getting back to self-love, just taking care of myself and feeling like I am worth being taken care of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I value, so with me, the dancing is rooted in the core value for me of playfulness
Yeah.
and curiosity
Yeah.
and ground and letting go.
Yeah.
And so for me, why I want to dance more or incorporate more dance and music is so that I can honor that playfulness, curiosity,
Yeah.
and letting go.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that,
True story, yesterday afternoon, got done with work, like long day, and we went right into kids' activities, right? And so it's like after that, and for some reason, I just started we're done with the activities of the night. We're kind of settling down. My husband and son were sitting in the kitchen. And all of a sudden, I just started dancing, like doing this like weird moves, like all like just like this, and like literally. And they're like, "What?" I go, "I don't know. I just feel like I just gotta like let it out." And I did it for like just a minute. And they're like, "Whatever." I'm like, "I just need to like." Again, like let it out. So
I love that. And that's you. I mean, that's who you
that was
are,
me. And
you
it
know?
was so fun. Even though they were looking at me like I was crazy, I did not care.
I love that. Yeah. See,
And then we got on with the evening.
I, on the counter to that, my need for rest, I think I said this before, but I have developed a really good rest ethic, and I just love, like, I'll take a nap. I'll be, in the middle of a room. I could be at a party if I need to. My
Yeah,
body's like, shut it down.
good.
I'm like, sorry,
Good.
I need a
So
nap.
you're saying yes to
Yeah.
that, right? Like you're saying no to no longer hanging out at the party to protect your yes.
Yeah.
So I think the key takeaway for today is where are you saying no to
Yeah.
protect and even unleash, right? Your authentic self that
Absolutely.
either needs a little bit more dancing or needs a little bit more quiet time.
Right.
These
Exactly.
are very, very important.
Right. And if there's something that's triggering you, like just a bump, if trigger is too powerful or negative of a word, just like what bumps you. And, if you're in a situation, in a place where you feel like you're just over bumped, then it might be time for some introspection and like, what do I actually need right now? What's changed? What is bothering me about this? And how can I return and take accountability for honoring my true self and getting back to returning to myself?
Yeah, my dog Gus, if you can hear him barking in the background, he agrees with you too.
Well, he's like, I have a need right now. I need your attention.
What's his unmet need right now?
Right. Well,
Gus,
usually dogs,
are you being your authentic self? Oh, I'm holding you back. See, I'm holding him back. That's the problem. He wants to go out and chase after squirrels that he needs right now.
yeah, I love it.
Well,
Take
on
it.
that note, I think I'm gonna honor my dog's authentic self and go let him outside.
Dogs have no choice. They can only be authentic.
That's right. I love it.
Be more like a dog. That's the lesson of today. Just
Yeah.
be a dog. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us all today. Is there anything else, Rebecca, you want to leave with before we sign off?
Frankly, I think we nailed it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
My,
you go be you. I'm gonna go dance and take my dog out, and y'all have a great week. Thanks for tuning in and what in the well.
bye.
Cheers. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of What in the Well. Be sure to review, rate, and subscribe to our podcast. And if you have a topic you'd like us to cover, share it in the comments. Stay well until we meet again.